So it's my great honor and pleasure to be able to welcome you all here. Thank you very much for making the effort to come, because it's very important, your contribution and your participation, and there's real effort behind that, I know. I would also like to thank especially the organizers of this meeting. The two people sitting on either side of me are two ordinary members of the Academy, Gustavo Beliz and Paolo Carrozza, who were the real minds behind the meeting, their staffs in their home institutions, and also our staff here at the Academy, especially Gabriella, who's taking the pictures now, and Alessandra, who did so much of the organization. Finally, I'd also like to thank the School of Law at University of Notre Dame, who provided some of the funds for this event. Now, I'd like to focus on the title. I hope I can get my slides up now, because the title of this event went through a few iterations before we ended up with this one. And what Cardinal Turkson was just telling you explains some of the reasons behind it. Leo's name really started the process of moving towards Rerum Novarum because of Leo XIII's document on this topic. And of course, Rerum Novarum means in Latin the new things. So the Pope was trying to deal at that time with the challenges to human dignity from the political and economic changes that were taking place in society. And now Pope Leo himself has said, we need to look at AI in the same kind of way, the challenges that it's raising for human dignity in our age. Now you can see there's a second part of our title, Peace, Social Justice, and Integral Human Development. You've got three concepts in that second part. And if you look at this developing social teaching that we have here, peace comes in right at the beginning, and as we'll see in the next slide I'll show you, is very, very constantly present in all the social teaching, in all the documents that build it up. Quadragesimo anno, as you can see, it's the 40th year after Rerum Novarum from the date, that's how it gets its name. It's the document that introduces the idea of social justice. And it has quite a sophisticated discussion about social justice in that document. We don't get integral human development until much later. You can see DT there. DT stands for Dilexite. That's the name of the document that just came out last week, published by Pope Leo XIV. And I was very happy to see that he uses all three terms in his document. So it kind of is an encouragement to us that we're actually going along the lines that Pope Leo is thinking about. He uses integral development more, 5 times, integral human development once, but still the concept is very much there. So you can see there's a development in this terminology as we go through. And if we look at a more complete list, I'm sorry, it's a bit small, but I'm trying to get most of the main documents in there. We can see, if you look at the column peace, how many times peace gets mentioned. You know, at the end, we've got 334 times over the main documents, compared to 35 times for social justice and 32 for integral human development. So the emphasis on peace is really, really present. See, just looking at the numbers there. We all see that social justice comes in with Quadragesimo anno. We just mentioned that. You can see it's not always present, that term, in all the documents, but it kind of comes in and out. So it's a kind of a background concept that's always there, more or less. And then integral human development doesn't arrive as a term until the document of Pope John Paul II in 1987 on development, but it's most used by Pope Benedict in his 2009 document on social questions, Caritas in Veritate. And I put Caritas in Veritate in green with Fratelli Tutti and Dilexite, because these are the 3 documents in the tradition that use all 3 terms that are in our title. It's quite interesting to see how they're connected in that way. Now, I need to stop very quickly. So I just want to say something about peace, because as you saw, this is the key idea if we just look at the numbers in the development of Catholic social teaching. I think the key idea in Catholic social thought about peace is that if we live in accord with the natural order, we will be living in a way that creates the basis for peace. And that includes thinking about human nature, which is a concept that kind of got lost in modernity. Now, this has 2 important consequences. This, by the way, if you're interested to see more about it, it's most clearly expressed in the document Pacem in Terris by John the 23rd in 1963. Now, the two important consequences of this way of thinking about peace. Firstly, it leaves lots of room for freedom. We are not talking about directing people in a fixed way because of some biological principle. The idea of human nature here is much broader, and it's focused around becoming the person you could become. So it's focused on freedom for the kind of capability idea, sen, for instance, which is more important than the freedom from, which became the key idea of freedom and modernity. You know, clear out all the opposition to my free choice about what I could do. Freedom for is much more important and deep kind of freedom, even though freedom from has its importance as well. The other important consequence is that we are part of the same natural order as creation, as the world around us. So this puts us, if we try to live in accord with human nature and the natural order, we live in also in a peaceful relation with the rest of creation. So it puts us back into our place in nature. And so I think obviously we can see the importance of that for us today. We can share goals based on our nature. This is a crucial problem for us today. Modernity does not allow us to share goals. We only share means. Goals we all have at the individual level. If we start to live according to our nature, we start to share goals. That means we can build a genuine common good without losing a crucial role for human freedom. We don't have this clash that we have in modernity between the group and the individual. We can share, but we can also have freedom as well. So you can see how this could be a basis for real peace this way. So a question for AI, and then I want to hand over to the next speaker. Could it help us understand our nature and the order of nature in creation more fully, with all its mashing up and all the things it can do? I would just raise a couple of caveats about that. Having been trained on data that's largely produced in the modern period, where the idea of human nature was replaced by the thinking machine, you know, and the transcendent dimension of human life has been largely ignored, it means the database on which the main AI systems are trained doesn't have these elements very much present in it. But that doesn't mean that we couldn't use it or retrain it or, you know, do something else with it. So I'll leave it there. I won't say about the connection between AI and the other topics. Hopefully this will come up in the rest of our meeting. Thank you very much.